Greetings everybody, and welcome to another weekly Wednesday ramble. So this has been a rather uneventful week since the last time I talked to you on Wednesday. I actually went through most of the week wondering, what the heck, what am I going to talk about on my vlog this week? Until Sunday, because Sunday night, this happened! We had an earthquake Sunday night. It was at night around between 10 and 12. I wasn't keeping track of exactly what time it was. It was a 3.2 magnitude earthquake, I believe, according to other people on the floor, which is not that large, but because I am 8 stories in the air, it was magnified quite a bit up the building. It was quite an interesting experience. I've never actually, felt an earthquake before. I know we've had them in Fresno, but I've never noticed it. I think the only other time I've noticed an earthquake before was the floorboards started creaking. Not the floorboards, the sideboards. We don't have floorboards in my house. But yeah, something started creaking in the house and was like, oh, what was that? And then I went outside and people were like, oh, there was an earthquake. And I was like, oh, I wasn't aware. But this time I was definitely aware. I, for a split second, thought my phone was vibrating, and then realized, oh, no, wait. Everything is vibrating. It's not just my phone. But yeah, there's a lot of shaking up here. Nothing, was knocked over or anything, but it was a very noticeable vibrating of the building. I walk outside, and a few people are sort of freaking out. It was quite entertaining on my part. There was a 1.8 aftershock, 3 minutes later, that I think I was the only one who actually felt, because I happened to be leaning against the wall at the time. So it was like a phantom vibration, but yeah, that's the earthquake. It was very exciting. So yesterday I had an astrophysics midterm, which I'm sort of ambiguous about. I think it was a fairly written test. I don't think I could have screwed up that badly on it. And it was one of the midterms where the professor starts off with, oh, this is a 3-problem midterm. And you immediately, all these flags start going up like, oh gosh, these problems are going to be nightmarishly impossible if there's only 3 questions on a midterm. Then it turns out it's not really just 3 questions. The first question is part A through H. The second one is A through I. So it's not really 3 questions. It's a good number of questions. I don't want to try and count that, but there were a lot of questions on this. It wasn't just 3. It was kind of funny. But that's not why I'm talking about it. Why I'm talking about it is because I transcended my own weird things happening in tests quota. Normally there's the weird thing in tests where, oh, someone's phone will go off and it'll make a ton of noise and everyone's like, someone's phone's going off, or someone will be coughing. Well, about halfway through the test, I started hearing a ringing. It's just that and I was like, I've never heard of any device that makes this noise, modern times at least. And it just kept going. So it wasn't like a phone. It just kept going. Because a phone, it'll ring for a little bit, then stop, then ring for a little bit, and stop. This was just a steady alarm sound that lasted for about 15 seconds. And it sounds like it's coming from me. I have no idea what it is, because again, it doesn't sound like a phone. My phone's in my pocket. It sounds like it's coming from my backpack. I just what? Backpack, what are you doing? Why are you making noise? What the heck is in you right now, backpack? So it shuts itself off after about 15 seconds, and I sort of disregard it until later. But when I'm getting into my room later, I start hearing a ticking coming from my backpack. And I realize that I had left, let me get it out, what I had left in my backpack that was making such awful noises was this bad boy. I had left my metronome in my backpack from when I went to go down to the practice rooms last Saturday, and the pressure from the books turned it on, put it onto a timer setting, I guess, and when the timer went off in class, that was the ringing sound that was coming from it. And then when I was getting to my room, it got switched into the normal metronome setting and just started ticking. So, yeah, it's the first time that's ever happened. Only to me, right? Speaking of funny things on midterms, next week I have my computer science midterm. The professor put up a list of his previous bonus questions on his profile for the computer science website. And they're rather interesting. I'll see if I can bring them up. I have them up on my computer right now, so let me read the beginning here. The following problems have appeared on my tests over the years, typically worth 1/2 or 1 point. They are always extra, in the sense that their score is not counted in the nominal point value of the test. They constitute my response to that bane of all professors, the question, what will be on the test? And allow me to answer honestly with, you are responsible for the sum total of human knowledge since the beginning of recorded history, with particular emphasis on the contents of this course. So you may ask, well, what the heck? What kind of questions does he have on here? Well, question 2 from the fall of 1984. Why are manhole covers round? From fall of 1989. Name 4 languages, not programming languages, spoken in Europe that are not Indo-European. Fall of 1995. What happened in Paris on the 5th of October, 1582? What order contains a quarter of all known animal species? Name a poet much of whose work can be sung to the tune of The Yellow Rose of Texas. Where can you expect to find the highest concentration of janjaweed? Where or what is Sark? In what state was the first 911 call made? Why are plumbers called plumbers? So yeah, I'm looking forward to whatever question he's going to throw on our midterm next week. Hopefully it's something I know. There are a few on that I could actually pick out, that I knew right off the bat. Hopefully it'll be that case next week, because then I'll have a bragging point next week with, I knew the extra credit question. Take that. Adam's question. The obligatory, what is your quest? Question. My quest, sort of hard for me to put into words, but I'll do my best. I'm sort of I figured this out as just a part of myself. I think earlier this past year, or last year being my freshman year at Berkeley, that my quest in life, more or less, not necessarily just now, but is to pretty much absorb all the information that I can from anything around me. That's not necessarily I have to learn this, I have to learn this. No, this is if I'm reading something online, whether it's a story that someone wrote, if I'm reading a comic strip, that all to me counts as absorbing information. And I feel like that's something that I really enjoy. It's just sort of just taking in random things from around me. Oh, this is the fastest way to walk from here to here on campus. Oh, that cloud looks interesting today. I don't know, it's very hard for me to put into words. But yeah, my quest is more or less just the absorption and assimilation of my surroundings into my own mind. Take that as you will. I'm not sure I could take that in any way other than nonsense. I'm not sure if any of that made sense. It makes sense to me, and it may make sense to 2 people. I'm fine with that. I don't expect it to make sense. Anyway, that is pretty much all I have to talk about from this past week. Yeah, that's all. I will talk to you guys again on Wednesday. Have an amazing week. See you later.